So many of the movements that came in this moment of American history were exactly questioning philanthropy. They were questioning how philanthropy itself was done. And so they were thinking of new ways to do it. The settlement house movement is my very favorite example of this, where the founders of that movement were specifically reacting to a previous era in which that was defined by something called noblesse oblige, where these sort of wealthy elites would bestow their, donations upon the poor, right? And they came in deliberately to try and put on the ground a different model. And they had a very strong mutual aid mindset about working with immigrants, and that it was a mutual learning experience, not a one-way learning experience. And that actually evolved out of the settlement movement over time. As it evolved into a professionalized movement where they started treating people like clients and they started taking big donations of government money and other things, their whole model shifted. And so I think you're exactly right on to say what we need is a redefining of how we are serving with the underserved, not just serving for. But the other thing that I think you bring up, and I will just say this, I want to bring it out because it's super important. There is a critique of the racialized we that we're talking about in this first 2/3 of the century, in the sense that it was a we that was really defined by white maleness. And it was about bringing everyone into that idea of what it meant to be an American, in a sense, right? And that's not, I do think that what we need today is a completely new redefinition, a new North Star for America that's not just about a sort of upper middle class ideal of the American dream, right? But really looking to communities of color to help us redefine America's core values, right? I mean, what are America's core values? Like, I think that that's a really important conversation that needs to be had. I think the most interesting people having that conversation are communities of color. And I think that's where the conversation starts. It's not just a conversation that starts in white America and then we bring in voices of color. I think the absolute opposite flip needs to happen. And that's where we're going to get a real energy behind what is that new summit that we're working toward. So I really appreciate you bringing that out.